How's it going, everyone? Phoenix Rapunzel here, and welcome back to another Infinite Magicraid video. So I want to start this video off by saying the devs were very fast in letting us know about the Rate Up event coming this weekend. So let's go ahead and jump in, talk about the heroes that are up for this Rate Up event, and see if it's worth going for, along with the Double the Legend event. Let's go ahead and start with the epics, and then we'll go to the legends. Okay, so the first epic in this Rate Up event coming this weekend is Longbeard. So Longbeard, let's take a look at his kit really quick. Single enemy attack on the basic attack, restores self by 30% of the damage dealt, deals more damage as he loses hit points. 20% attack for 2 turns, 200% attack to single enemy, and inflicts freeze if it lands a crit, and it does more damage as he loses hit points again. He gains 8% more leech, restores self by 5% of max hit points when it lands a crit, and then 3 stages of 70% attack damage to all enemies. So triple hitter AoE, ignores 50% of the target's defense if it lands a crit. Is he the strongest on the list? I don't necessarily think so. I feel like there are better heroes than him, but still not bad if you need someone to smack really hard and have a little bit of control of their game. So the second epic that they have on the list, and this one surprises me a little bit because we just barely had a Rate Up with this guy, a part of it, Biseden. So Biseden, he's actually a really interesting support hero here. Inferior severe wound on the first skill, 30% chance to get that on there for 2 turns. Selects an ally to remove all their buffs and cleanse their debuffs, and then puts on increase attack or attack up 2, crit rate up 2, crit damage up 2, and then defense down 2. And if he gets exclusive up high enough, then they basically go immediately. So he cleans all their buffs and debuffs off, and he's like, okay, now I want you to hit really, really hard. So here's all these attribute buffs. They go, and then immediately they're like, these buffs are removed again because they're only on there for 1 turn. So kind of interesting mechanic there. His passive increases the damage dealt by him when an enemy is killed, and it also increases his turn meter when an ally is killed. So we have this is his ultimate skill, enemy to other 2 random enemies. So technically a triple hitter, with 30% chance to put on attack down 1, and then 30% chance to put down the effect res. So kind of an interesting hero here. I feel like he's mostly used for this potential inspiration skill. I could be wrong. If you guys have him, let me know down in the comments, where do you use him and how do you use him? Is he worth going for? If you just barely pulled a bunch of copies of him, or if you pulled him during the Rate Up event over this last weekend, I would say maybe not. Unless you don't have enough copies to get up his exclusive and you want to build him, then go ahead. Otherwise, I would say maybe not. So our third one here is Lomas. Lomas is a bleed hero. So he does a double hitter on a single target on his basic attack, 30% chance to reduce effect res, and the second hit has a chance to put on speed down 1. And then we have an AoE double hitter. First stage does defense down 1. The second stage does bleed. 50% chance to inflict an extra layer of bleed whenever he inflicts an attribute debuff on an enemy target. And then he can also, if you get his exclusive up, then he can increase his bleed damage. And then we've got 8 stages to a single enemy, so basically 8 hits with 20% chance to inflict layer of bleed. So he could be good if you have a bleed team and you need just some more support there. Is he worth going for? again, if you have a bleed team, I would say go for it, and if you don't already have him. If not, I would say don't. But again, it's up to you and it's up to your account. Okay, so the last one that we have here for epics is Sadora. So here's Sadora. She looks really cool. I love her dress. Okay, so basic attack puts on inferior severe wound. It's an AoE, important to note that. Increases turn meters and then cleanses attribute debuffs and can put on resist debuffs if you get her up to E1. She takes 40% less direct damage at the beginning of each wave. It disappears after she completes her action turn for the first time. And then reduces the attack of the enemy with the highest attack by 20% for 2 turns. So kind of like it's basically like a damage mitigation for herself. And then E3 reduces direct damage taken by all allies by 25% of this amethyst shield. So instead of just doing it for herself, if you get her up to E3, then she can do it for everyone. And then another AoE, 60% chance to put on severe wound, and also silence if you get her exclusive up. So overall, she's a very, very solid support hero here. Is she worth going for? I would say yes. Because of her cleansing abilities, because of her increasing those turn meters, that can be such a big important boost in the game. And then her putting on severe wound and inferior severe wound, it means that going against really annoying teams that continue to heal themselves is going to be less of a problem. Let's go on to the legends. The first one, actually the first couple I'm going to talk about are right here in Wizard's Eye. The first one is probably one of my most wanted heroes. It's Geeliman. She is new to the game as of, I'm not even sure how long ago it was. But I mean, she is so cool. I love her cloak. So she is a support hero, but she, based on her kit, she can smack pretty hard if you build her right. So basic attack, a 60% chance to put on resist buff, and then grants herself a layer of arcane. I'm gonna jump to her ultimate really quick. 200% attack, damage to all enemies, so AoE, removes all buffs from them, which is huge. Like removing any buffs from them. 50% chance to reduce their speed by 40%, so that's speed down too. But I mean, especially in arena, I feel like this is so freaking strong. And then if you get her exclusive up, then she additionally casts Bursting Knowledge, which is her second skill here. This is where her unique buff comes in, Arcane. It stacks up to 5 layers. She basically takes all of those arcane buffs and she changes them to these wisdom rune stones, and then she generates 4 more and she shoots them off. The rune stones prioritize the main target when attacking. They switch to attack the enemy target with the lowest hit points when the main target dies, and they each deal 120% attack damage. Now that could go up to 160% each. 160 times 9, that's a lot of damage. And if you spread it among an enemy team, this could easily be a wave clearer. And then her E1 increases the number of rune stones generated from 4 to 6, and then all the rune stones have an additional 40% piercing rate. So that means they're ignoring 40% of defense. So overall, she is amazing. Definitely on my most wanted list, if not at the very, very top. Love Geeliman. Okay, so the second one here is Space. Now, everyone knows Space. You actually can get her after you first get into the game by completing some challenges and stuff after like 7 days or so. And she is quite the hero. She's got an awesome passive which basically grants her an extra turn meter boost at the beginning of each wave. So it almost, if you build her fast enough, it almost guarantees that she's going to go first every time. And that way she can get out her heal right away. She can also increase allies' turn meters. So then on her first skill, she reduces the turn meter of enemies, a single enemy, by 15%. And she can reduce it even more. It goes to 35%. And then on her first active skill, she puts on speed down as well as speed up. So as far as turn meter manipulation, Space is fantastic when it comes to that. Is she worth polling for? Yes, absolutely. Especially if you can get multiple copies of her and get her like exclusive up to E2, E3, then that would be very much helpful, because again, you increase the healing rate, you increase the turn meter increase rate. So super cool. I like Space a lot. So now we have Luz. This guy is so sweet looking. Like, look at that sword. So he is an attack hero. I've seen a lot of people use him. I haven't actually looked through his kit, so this is my first time. Let's take a look. A 200% attack damage, single enemy, extra damage by 5% of the target's max hit points. Caps at 200% of Luz's attack. Okay. So extra damage dealt by 5% of the target's max hit points. So kind of like an enemy max HP kind of skill there, which is pretty cool. And then first active skill, 2 stages of damage to a single enemy. First stage deals 60% attack damage, reduces the defense by 60% for 2 turns. The second stage deals 180% attack damage and lands a crit. So basically always critting that second hit there. E1, each stage deals extra damage, caps at 200% of Luz's attack by 3% of the target's max HP. So again, another enemy max HP skill if you get the E1 up. Passive, for every 1% hit points the target loses, his current attack has 0.3% more crit rate before he deals damage. And it also increases his crit rate if you get the exclusive up. So basically this guy is a smacker. Like, you definitely want to build him for crit rate, crit damage here. And then we have an AoE on the ultimate. Extra damage, again, another enemy max HP here by 5% of the target's max hit points. 50% more leech rate. So basically he has a built-in heal there. Really cool. Is he worth going for? I would say yeah. Especially if you need a hard hitting damage dealer and one that does AoE damage as well, definitely go for him. So then the next one we have Elaina. Elaina is in Holy Light. I am fortunate enough to have Elaina on both accounts. So Elaina is another cleanser, very awesome support hero. A single target on the first skill transfers all self debuffs to them, and then reduces their defense by 30% for 2 turns if no debuffs are transferred. So she's putting some kind of debuff onto the enemy. Preferably, if she has debuffs herself, then she just gets rid of all of those. But if not, then she at least has the defense down. And then AoE removes all their buffs. So she's kind of similar to Geeliman in that sense, where she attacks and she also removes buffs. And if you get her E1 up, then there's a 70% chance to reduce the speed by 40%. So speed down 2. Super cool there. Reduces crit damage taken by all allies by 18%. And then if you get her E2 up, increases the crit damage of all allies by the same amount of crit damage reduced of all enemies. So again, some damage mitigation built in there. And then cleanses attribute debuffs of all allies, restores hit points by 12% of max hit points. And then again, E3, we've got a shield that goes up. Really, really solid support hero here. Is she worth going for? Yeah, I would say so. If you don't already have her, or if you don't already have a good cleanser. It's important to note that when she cleanses, she only cleanses attribute debuffs, so attack down, defense down, speed down, things like that. But she is super, super, super solid. Okay, so this is the last hero on the list. We have Maeve. So her basic attack deals 240% attack damage to a single enemy with 20% chance to inflict hypnotize for 1 turn. Her first active skill, we have, again, a single target, 70% chance to place defense down 2. And then if you get her exclusive up, guaranteed to reduce the target's defense, so you don't need effect hit for that part. And then it inflicts an extra layer of slumber mark. So the slumber mark, each mark reduces the target speed by 5%. After reaching 5 layers, she'll attack the target and inflict hypnotize. So basically they get slower and slower and slower, and then she hits them and they go to sleep. So there's that explanation right there with the deadly slumber. Deals an extra 340% attack damage to them. If the extra damage kills the target, 200% attack damage to all enemies and inflicts hypnotize on all of them for 1 turn. That is really cool if you build her with enough like crit rate and crit damage and stuff, so that she can just nuke him down and take him out. And then also with her E2, increases self-attack by 40%, grants self-stealth for 2 turns after slumber mark reaches 5 layers, and then she attacks. So again, she's boosting herself up, and then she smacks them, and either they go down and everyone else is put to sleep, or just the target's put to sleep. Okay, and then the ultimate skill, we have triple hitter, single enemy with 50% piercing rate. So that means it's ignoring 50% of defense, which is super cool. And then it can go up to 4 stages. Is this the strongest E3? I don't think so. I think the E2 would be the one to go for here. I mean, it'd be nice to have like an extra stage of damage. It's always nice to have more of that. But again, I feel like her other exclusives are better to get there. So is she worth going for? If you need a control hero, yeah, I would say yes. Go for her. And she looks so pretty too. Alright everyone, so those are the heroes that are going to be involved in the Rate Up event this weekend. Is this event worth going for alongside the Double the Legend? I would say yes, mostly with the Legend heroes. For me, I will be going for this Rate Up because I would love to have an extra copy of Elaina or Space, or even just get Geeliman for the first time. That would just be so great. So great. Okay, you guys, so let me know down in the comments. How do you feel about this Rate Up event coming this weekend? Are you going to pull for it? And if so, who do you want the most? Let me know down in the comments. Really appreciate it. Thanks you guys so much for watching this video. If you're not already a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button and hit the bell so you don't miss out when I make new videos. I try to post daily videos, so keep an eye out for those. Thank you so much, you guys. Every single video that I put out, it's a lot. It's a lot to put out with me working another job and everything on top of this. But I do it because I enjoy it. But I also do it because I know you guys will appreciate it. So thank you so much. I really, really do appreciate it. And I appreciate you guys. And I will see you next time. Peace.